Happy Monday, everyone. This is July 1st. This is Canada Day, just in case you didn't know. Happy Canada Day. That means kind of like the Independence Day for Canada. To all the Canadians that are on this call, Canada's a pretty young country, right? In 1867. So I haven't done the math to say what the birthday is, but happy birthday to Canada. It's been an interesting ride. I want to quickly mention, I'm going to pitch to Eran in a moment, but this docu-series that TBN is playing, I just wanted to say it was really epically incredible. I might show some clips later, but the history of Israel, I've written documents on this, I've studied this, but just how well this award-winning Jewish director put it in this. It's a 4-part, actually extended it to 5 parts on TBN about focusing on October 7th, but then how he just went through the history of the land of Israel. Of course, the Jewish right to the land was very well. I really highly recommend you all sign up for that. Okay, so it's just look up October 7th mini series on TBN, Trinity Broadcast Network, because they are co-producers of that. So I just wanted to mention that's every Friday night. Thank you, Stella, for telling me about that. Okay, Eran, thank you so much for joining us on Mondays. Eran, in all that you speak about today, one thing I was just thinking as I'm just looking at the wars of Israel, obviously you would know a lot more than myself, but has this felt very similar to the Yom Kippur War, just looking at the surprise attack, the number of casualties, that one went longer than, the very miraculous 6-day war. I don't know, just how are you guys doing? And has there been parallels with that particular, at the last minute, as I understand it, the US did come through with great, that was Nixon at the time. Nixon did some real good stuff, by the way, as it pertained to Israel. But just anyways, thoughts of how we can pray. Eran, over to you. Thank you. Oh, just unmute. Are you muted, I think?
Thank you, Patricia, very much. You hear me? It's okay?
Yeah, now I hear you. That's good.
Great. So for your question, it's a very different war because Yom Kippur was war between armies. It was war that is under, behind the lines and borders. And here, the war in the 7th of October entered to Israel. Since then, people are evacuated from the houses. People evacuated in the north. The borders are so it was not just army, it was one of the thing that the population is very involved inside that. It's not just the soldiers that are fighting, it's also the population. And more of that, I think one of the things that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not starting the war now. I'm not sure if it's one of the, if we're concerned about the fronts that we have. One of the things that will happen if it's going to be a war between Hezbollah. By the way, Hezbollah is sitting in Lebanon, and the war is not with Lebanon, it's with Hezbollah, which is one of the things that a lot of discussions in Israel, if 9 months people are not living in their houses, people wondering why in Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, there is electricity still, or how come they can fly back and forward inside the airport while everybody knows that they have a lot of weapons inside that hiding by Hezbollah. So one of the big gaps, Patricia, is that we are human and we are democracy, and we are not playing by the rules of the jungle that called the Middle East. We're thinking about the future of our children. We are grieving, and one of the things is I heard a rabbi that I met in the NLC, by the way, and we spoke about how difficult it's to be a Jewish person. And I was reading to you last time, for me, if I will hear that a Jewish friends, citizen will attack, my heart will burn from that. And if he wants to come to live in Israel, we are going to accept him without any questions. So the mutual responsibility that we have as Jewish people among ourselves, it's something that, for example, the leadership of Hezbollah and Hamas is not existing. You know, people are dying in Lebanon and in Gaza,
Yeah.
and they are not care. There are thousands of people that are killing
Mm.
there. And an hour ago, it was young soldier that was killed
Oh,
in Gaza, and everybody in Israel is know his name. And somebody, because it's a small country, everybody knows the somebody that connect to him, and he will buried in a couple of hours in Mount Herzl, and it's going to be thousands of people there. Not all of them know him directly or his family. So the
mm,
mutual responsibility here, it's a different thing.
mm,
And we, you know, with all the demonstration in Israel these days and all the hard things that we are back to the conversations before the 6th of October, in the end, the mutual responsibility is something strong here very much. And
wow,
we are standing now at 269 days of war,
wow.
and still we have soldiers. I told you a couple of hours ago, there is a soldier that was killed in Gaza.
Mm.
Unfortunately, again, it's a friend of Itamar, my son,
Oh,
a close one for the same group that they are served together. Itamar was with him in the first round in Gaza, and this is a very nice young man that we know.
wow.
He was studying in a yeshiva. He was a religious guy that was living in Itamar, and he was studied there, and he chose to go to the army and fight and learn. And I know in Gaza it was very difficult for them to keep Shabbat, for example, together. So
Mm,
for their decision, they everybody keep Shabbat. They didn't. They fight and do everything, but when they didn't fight, they're keeping Shabbat together. They pray together. They share the small food that they have. And Itamar, my son, we are not keeping Shabbat here in the house. We are keeping in our own Shabbat. But all the ceremonies, all the thing, everybody was inside. And this guy was very nice and quiet guy and very funny guy. And
mm,
he and another 8 friends entered to a house, and it was blown away. And
oh,
8 of them are severe injured, and one of them, this guy was killed. And this is in the 269 days of war. And
wow.
I was in Friday. This Friday, we have a group of parents and teen that came, and most of the parents was in reserve and didn't saw the children. And one of the things that we are doing in this program, we encourage the children's and the fathers to ask both, how can be a better father to you, and the son is asking how I can be a better son to you. And it's a great question, because it's opened the heart, and people start thinking about, then the fathers are going to ask somebody, how can be a better son to you. This is a question that I'm asking God every day, by the way, when I'm praying to him. How can be a better son to you? And the second question is what I can do for you. And on Friday it was children that didn't saw their fathers for 4 months, and one of them said to his father, "I want to be a child again. I
Wow.
don't want to be the leader of the house, and I'm in the age of 13. I do it, but I
Oh,
don't want to take responsibility
wow.
of my brothers and sisters. I want to be a child." And
Yeah.
when I heard that, I was thinking about, the nature of the people, in the midst of the war, in the midst of everything,
Mm,
the prayer is just to be normal again.
yeah.
And that the families will do a Shabbat together and trip together and hikes together. Our privilege is to be there. And in this Shabbat, we was reading from the Bible, Parashat Beshalach, which is speaking about the spies that goes to look for the country, 12 of them. 10 of them came back and spoke about the giants and about that it's not good. And 2 of them, Caleb and Joshua, came and say a different thing. And I think that when I stand here with these children's and parents, and and in the midst of the war, in the midst of the horror, what they are seeing is the good. They see the parents back, they see they're healthy, they see that they are functioning in a way. And I was thinking about the good people of Israel, the good Jewish people of Israel. And when you're going to tour the country these days, so the border is terrible, the leadership is terrible, the economic is in a very bad shape. You can easily say that we are over the cliff. We are not standing there. We are just, in a way that we are going down. Sorry, going down and down and down. But I choose to be a Caleb or a Joshua that said, yes, it's a big war here. Yes, it's terrible. But the people are coming, the beauty of them that you can see, the parents and the team, the soldiers that arrive. Today we have youth in risk, children that don't have these parents in their homes, children that are going from boarding school to boarding school to boarding school, and this is their life story. And when they came to the NLC, the trainers, the leaders of them came to us and hugged us, and we are very, very encouraging by the fact that we have the ability to be part of the beauty of Israel these days. Yes, we have 120 hostages still there. Yes, we have a place, but I think that if you are projecting in the midst of the horror and this hell that we are living, you are projecting that it's going to be good, and you're projecting that God is good, and you are saying to the people it's going to be okay, and they ask you how, and I say let's pray for that, and that's it. You don't need to do more. I think to look on the giant and afraid, this is one plan, but to look on the giant and say no, we are here because of God promised us, and we are here because we have to be here, and we are here because it's our right to be here. So if we are here and we are not soldiers in the IDF, let's do the best that we can as soldiers of another army, and the army of citizens, of the good citizens, the army of the people. This is what I try to train my people with all the bad things that happen in their life. But to see that, for me, it's amazing. And we are involving in a lot of fronts. We have a lot of fronts. The north is terrible. What's happened there, it's terrible, really terrible. Gaza, you don't see the end, terrible. And from the Houthis, Iran was saying in the weekend that if we are going to attack Lebanon, they're going to attack us, and it's going to be a huge war here. Another front. Inside us, we are tearing apart as an Israeli society what is going to be and who is going to the army. And the non-religious don't want to go, and the ultra-religious don't want to go, and the others are going, and people feeling that it's not the blood, it's not equal here. And with all of that, I think our role, our job is to look and to say, it's going to be okay. We are strong. Nothing can beat us. Nothing can join us because of the promise. Because it was written, 600,000 people saw God himself and Moses from Mountain Sinai. They heard, they saw that it's something that going story from a father to his son and to his son to the next son. So it was happening. It was a lot of people that saw the miracle, and we have to be joined hands together and trust that with all the troubles that we have. And I see that with the orphans and the widows that we have. A lot of them are coming to the NLC and are starting to recover. And we see people that are getting a little bit hope in their heart that it's going to be okay. So yes, Patricia, it's very hard. Yes, it's not easy. Yes, we don't see the end. of that, and we're not sure what is going to be. A lot of people have a feeling that it's going to be war in the north. It's a matter of time. This is the understanding in Israel. And if it's going to be a war, it's going to be hard weeks here of bombing Tel Aviv, Haifa. Everything is going to be shut down. Everything is going to be there. But I say to the people that I'm in charge, let's don't be afraid, and let's don't be scared. And we have been in the history a lot of threat on the Jewish people, and we have a lot of things that happen to us. And there is a plan here for sure. We don't understand that. We cannot see that. We cannot measure that. But I see the children of Israel, that their prayer is just to becoming children again. And I
Wow.
think this is our debt and obligation for them. And this is what I try to do in the NLC. Today it was more than 100 degrees in Ariel, very hot. And
Wow.
the trainers, after a couple of hours, they was exhausting emotionally and physically. And
Mhm.
we did them a break and we say to them, listen, it's hot, it's terrible, but these young people, nobody invests time in them and hope in them as you are doing. So let's drink a glass of water and let's take ourselves together and go happy with a huge smile on our face and a big hope in our heart. And let's do something for them that they are going to understand that maybe they don't have an Abba and an Ima,
Yeah.
but there is an Abba, and you can be their Abba for a couple of hours, and you can open the heart for them to understand that there is an Abba, maybe not physically, but there is an Abba, and we are providing that every day in the NRC, and this is a joy in Judea and
Mm.
Samaria. Again, it's terrible. The situation is very hard. I'm going to send that. We have a bomb shelter in the NLC, something
Mhm.
that we didn't plan to build, and we have
Right.
a bomb shelter that it's finished these days. We are, I think next Sunday we are going to finish that. So the sense of security that we are going to have to these people, it's something that is going to be physically, and then our garden that we built for the name of God, the place that we build there, and it's going to be more secure to people to understand. And then I'm feeling that as much as we are keeping that very beautiful and we are
Mhm.
doing that very secure, people are going to come and open the hearts and they have big smiles. And this is what we are going to do. This is my focus for the next couple of years. It's going to take. I saw soldiers that are coming and they are playing like they're Rambos and they're very strong, but the heart are broken. You see soldiers that they are living the trauma every day. I see that in my house. I have two of them. One of them is
Mhm.
Jonathan, my big son, my old son, is recognized by the Ministry of Defense as a post-trauma. But I see my son Itamar that he didn't
Mhm.
recognize, but is post-traumatic. Is since he came from Gaza, we have a different man in our house. We have a man, old man in our house. We have sad man in our house. We have a worried man in our house. And if his mother said that he have a fever, he is like, oh my gosh, that the sky are falling.
Wow.
And yes, because they're, everything is in a little bit more volume.
Yeah.
So I think, Patricia, I
Wow.
I want to focus my prayer today is to the children of Israel. They are the future. They saw the horror in their eyes. They feeling the bad environment in Israel. They are worried for sick for their parents. They are worried for the future. They are wondering why it's happened to them. And this is a question that a lot of children asking. I saw that in the NLC.
Mm.
Young people are not understanding why somebody have to kill, rape, and somebody have to go and put innocent people in a dangerous and a dead. And we have to face on that. And it's a hard questions because
Yeah.
the nature of the people here is to be human. We release, you're going to see that in a couple of hours. we released the manager of Shifa, the hospital. It's a
Yes, saw that.
big issue in Israel now. A
Yes.
big issue. And because again, after the horror, after that everybody is mad here in Israel, we are human. There is not enough place for them in prison, so we
Yes.
need to release them. You know, you are hearing the people, and you say, in one hand, thank God that I'm living as a Jewish guy in a Jewish humanitarian community. But in other hand, you say, oh my gosh, are
Mm,
we, and we're supposed to be human. We are the chosen people. We have to be like that. But you know, young people are asking, where is the revenge? And I say to them, let's show love, not revenge. But it's hard. You know, this is small group of people that speaking about love and speaking about human, and it's okay because everybody angry. By the way, I'm very angry.
mm,
But we are living in an environment of human, of loving people, of love your neighbors, like love the foreigner, love the widow. Like, you know, like, and this is our rules. This is our DNA. You know, you
mm,
cannot becoming somebody that you know. I'm sure that most of the not all the people in here are not going to steal someday because something will happen to them. They are not going to cheat. They're not going to kill or murder, and they
mm,
are going to honor their fathers and mothers. Not because it's written in a kind of book that written 5,000 years ago. No, it's because
mm.
it's in the blood of the people. It's in the DNA to be human, and we have to be human. And this is
Yeah,
what we are going to continue to be. I
yeah.
hope that we are going to be understand that it's not have to be just we have to be smart and courageous.
Mhm,
But as you can understand, Patricia, in all this long lecture, our challenges are among us, are huge, because we have to give to people hope. We have to give answer to young people why,
mm,
why it's happened to them, why did it happen to their families. I saw the orphans that lost their father 3 months ago. They don't understand something. One, why their father is not going to back home.
mm,
And yesterday I say to the mayor of Ariel, you know, I think about myself as a clever guy, but
mm,
you know, there's questions the children ask you, not adults. We can argue, we can debate, but when a child asks you why my father is not going to be back, the
yeah,
only thing that you can do is hug and smile and say to him, I'm with you always.
yeah.
Always. So the challenging are huge, and I'm not afraid of challenges. We just have to be better. We have to be with a better capacity to love people, to hug people, to accept, you know, to accept angry child, and you have all the rights in the world to be, you know, it's
Mm,
a challenge.
yeah,
But you know, God created us as human people. And you know, the journey that Heather Johnston started 25 years ago lead us to the place of mature and to show love,
mm.
grace, mercy, and in the midst of that, joy. Somehow we have to be like that. So thank you very much for that, Patricia.
Wow, 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 wow. So good.